Hey everyone, I'm Kais and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series. Today I'm going to introduce while loops. Let's say we want to have a program do something over and over again until some condition becomes true. For example, let's say we want to count to 1,000. We could go through and manually write out every number one by one, like this, but this would be incredibly tedious. So there's a much easier, simpler way, which is to use a loop. There are two main kinds of loops in C++, a for loop and a while loop. A while loop is a little simpler, so we'll do that one in this tutorial first. For loops are not much harder, but I'll introduce it later. So to use a while loop, we just need to say while condition, an open brace, and then the body, and then a close brace. So the condition, just like an if statement, can be any expression that gives you back true or false. So let's say we wanted to count from 1 to 1,000. Let's make a variable called count and set it to 1. Now, while count is less than or equal to 1,000, we're going to print it out and then increase it by 1. So that's just two statements, cout, count, and L, and then count equals count plus 1. So let's go ahead and run this, and you'll see the program runs really quickly, prints out all the numbers between 1 and 1,000. So first it checks if the condition is true, and then it does everything in the body. And it will continue checking the condition and executing everything in the body until the condition becomes false. And that's all there is to it. Now a few additional things I'd like to bring to your attention. First, there's a handy little shortcut if you want to increase a variable by 1. Instead of typing out count equals count plus 1, you can just type count plus plus. This is a shortcut called incrementing, which says literally exactly the same thing as count equals count plus 1. It's just shorter to type because programmers like to type as little as possible. Some people ask me if you can do count plus 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 to add 2, but you can't. The plus plus increment operator only adds 1. But there is another shortcut, count plus equals 1. That does exactly the same thing as count plus plus, but you can specify how many to add. So if you wanted to add 5 every time, you could just do count plus equals 5. Remember, this is just a shortcut for count equals count plus 5, and it's exactly the same. There's also a minus minus operator, which would subtract 1. You can do minus equals as well, and there's also shortcuts for multiplication and division. So asterisk equal for multiplication, and / equal for division. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about in this tutorial is infinite loops. Because the while statement will keep looping over and over while the condition is true, what happens if the condition never changes? The answer is we'll loop forever. We'll call this an infinite loop. We can try it for ourselves. So what if the value of count never changes? Just go ahead and comment out the increment, and we'll see. As you can see, the program prints out 1 over and over and over, and it'll never stop, so I have to kill the program. If you have any questions, leave a comment or send me an email. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.